When we talk about astrology, it's a myth. It's a myth that people feel that if you believe in a science which is stronger than you, then all your success and everything that you achieve in life will not be given credit to you, as if something supernormal or something more powerful than you is helping you out. Again, I would ask that question that most of us in today's time use an app like a weather app on phone. It's inbuilt in your phone. Now, when you use a weather app and you're traveling to a new place and you know it's going to rain tomorrow, or it's sunny there, or it's going to be very windy there, do you feel very weak when you have that information? I don't think any one of you have that feeling, because information is always powerful. What you do with that information is up to you. Similarly, it happens with astrology also. It just works like a weather app in your life. If you know that this is the time when you should not mess with your boss, this is the time when you should stay calm, this is the time when things will not be too supportive towards you. You don't have to fight back with the same emotion. You just have to understand and plan and strategically plan. It is just a way, a medium to help every one of us. But how did this originated? Is it really a science, or what exactly it is? Let's go back towards 1000 to 1500 BC. This is the time when Rigvedas were into writing up. I mean, everything was written about Rigveda. So, basis of astrology comes from the oldest written Sanskrit text that we have, which is Rigveda. In Rigveda, it was mentioned everything about sun having its 7 children, which means the planet, and then later on, everything else added up to it. It also spoke about at that point, we're talking about thousands of years back, that the up there sky is divided into a circle, a chakra, which is has 360 spokes. It had the calculations number 12, 36, 48, 72, and hence going further. So this was the science that belonged to our Vedic culture, our rishis. Of course, a lot of people have incidences to put in that it has a lot of culture brought in from Greek. It has a lot of things brought in during the time of Alexander visiting our country, rather invading our country. But the point is that Rig Veda clearly states that the astrology or the purpose of astrology was not for a common person. The purpose of astrology was about the greater good. It was about bringing everybody together. So, when you perform a puja, what is the correct timing for it? So, the calendar was the purpose of astrology, correct timing of everything. Like in today's time, also, when a marriage is happening, or when you, because of, cesarean and C section, today is still prevalent in our country, we want the perfect time for a childbirth. We want a perfect time for getting into a new house, for starting a business. We need a perfect time to starting anything new or auspicious in our time. That was the same purpose of astrology then, thousands of years back. It was about the complete goodness of the whole society. Now, I want you to observe a look at your left hand and a look at your right hand. Just pick up any line and notice the smaller lines on the bigger line. None of your hand, I mean, any one of you out there in the world, even twins born at the same time. Now, people have questions that when we talk about astrology, what about the twins who are born at the same time, same place, same mother? How can they have different destinies? Astrology now, in today's time, slowly traveling through Rig Veda, has come to a point of personal astrology because it is based on your date of birth, your time of birth, and your place of birth. But that's not the complete thing. Years back, when they were talking about astrology, it was only meant for rulers. It was only meant for kings. The way your house should be, the placement of your temple, the timing of you going and commencing for a war, the time of planning a child, the time of having birth of a child was almost predestined and pre-noted and pre-declared. Other than that, at that point of time, people were not just using astrology, they were using and checking palmistry, numerology, the numbers, everything was combined together, which is segregated now. Now, if you have a look at your right and the left hand, you'll realize that your hand, your palm lines are very different on this hand and very different on this hand. Similarly, different for the twins also. What is it? Just because we cannot read, we cannot say it's not correct. Why is it that you have a certain mark or a certain sign here, but you don't have it on this hand? Now, when science develops, and so does our culture, the problem is that we don't know logics of it. We don't understand that why we have to do that and why we don't have to do that. Let me give you an example. When you meet a very traditional or an old astrologer of today's time, when they see a woman's hand for astrology, they'll see the left hand. What was the science behind it? The right hand is, or the right side of the body, is the masculine side of the body. It's called Pingla. Pingla means the solar energy. The left side of your body is the feminine energy, which is called Ida. That is why the concept of Ardhanareshwar came into being. It doesn't mean a god and a goddess combining. It means combination of your brain, your energies, left and right, the left breath and the right breath. So that is the whole beauty of our culture, that everything is weaved into stories. It is only for the seekers. It is only for the learners. But astrology was a science that was for the greater good. Agriculture, the sowing, the plowing, the time of harvesting, the celebration, everything bigger and greater good was determined by the astrologers as for calendars, the timings, and all of it. Slowly and gradually, when people had segregated powers, it came to the small rulers and hence the noblemen, and then eventually to everybody else. But that was not the purpose of astrology. It was a science to guide you. It wasn't a science to predict. Yes, it did predictions and amazingly correct predictions, but about weather, about eclipses, about things that affected the greater good. Slowly, as we grow, if a doctor is not doing correct diagnosis, we cannot say that the science or the hospital or the whole organization is not good. It's individual practice. Similarly, for this science as well. If people don't have great experience with one prediction or two prediction or three predictions, it doesn't mean the science is not correct. It only means that you're not meeting the correct person. Again, if you do what you're doing, you think the way you're thinking, and you keep taking the similar actions, your future is 100% predictable. If you change, your thought pattern changes, your action changes, the future also changes. It never talked about the most important or the most powerful house in astrology is the 10th house, which is the house of karma. Even a science like that, at that point of time, thousands of years back, believed in something that your actions determine your future. They are just guiding tools which helped you to plan in a better way, which makes you understand that what is the right time to take correct action. But it is a whole science. It cannot be divided into just one part. Numbers being separate, palms being separate, face being separate, and astrology being separate, and even your house being separate. You want it or you don't want it. Your house, the hostel, the room, the bed, the side table, the office, anything that you are personally using is extension of your mind. When you go to a store, you look at 10 things, you pick up one. This is part of your subconscious, which is deciding what you're liking and what you have to pick. Similarly, anything which is determining what you like can also determine what course of actions you're going to take in future. Let me tell you an interesting part of astrology. In astrology, when people come, they match the charts for the boy and the girl to see if their horoscopes are matching, how their compatibility for future is going to be. People do that for business partnerships also, marriage partnerships also, for long term friendships also. But when you look at that, there is also another aspect in astrology which divides the behavior or the transaction part of a person into three ways. They call it Devgan, they call it Manushyagan, and Rakshasgan. Devgan means the qualities of the deity or the god, the qualities of human, Manushyagan. The qualities, I will not say devil, but I would say, well, that's the closest word I can bring it to my mind right now, but the qualities of a devil. Now, that's not something negative. They say when a person does a transaction in life or in business, it can be understood by three ways. We say this person is giver. Like in astrology, lot of rituals are related and connected to trees. They call tree or nature as God because it gives you. A bigger tree out there outside your home doesn't ask you, give me water, put some soil, put some fertilizers, nothing. It just grows, gives you oxygen, flowers, it gives you beauty, it gives you fruits, it gives you whatever it is capable of giving. It gives. Similarly, some human beings also have this nature of being a giver. They give you respite of what you're giving it to them. The second category of people is human category of people, Manushyagan, which means the first transaction we as humans did when we were into the society or even during cave civilization was transactional. You give me loaf of meat and I'll do this extra service for you. So anything which makes a person transactional is the human quality of it. Then the third one, which they call as Rakshasgan, which doesn't make you a devil, but it only means I am the receiver here. I want this. What I want to give you is not the communication or topic of discussion. Like we feel sometimes people just take so much from us, they don't give back to us. So when you understand the broader prospect of it, you know how to go about it. Similarly, another science of astrology was Samudrik Shastra, where the features of your face, your handwriting, your palm, your prints, everything about what you do, what you choose, and what you select also talks about you. So, this holistic science was about knowing the other person, having little supreme edge of knowing and extra knowledge about the other person, and then using it for your own benefit without probably disturbing the other person's existence. So, this science is very, very old. Thankfully, we are born in a country where we have rejoiced over it. But as I say, it is not to predict about you, it is to guide you, just like a weather app. If you can use it in the same wisdom, if you know it's going to rain tomorrow, you have to carry an umbrella. You don't have to wear your favorite white clothes and shoes because you know it's going to rain. And if it doesn't, there's still no harm in being prepared because there is possibility of rain tomorrow. So the whole existence of this science was for greater good, to guide you in a better way, not to make you fearful or full of fear about anything so that you don't perform. It was to bring the best out of you. It was to bring more caution to you, not fear to you. With respect to this science, to our country, to our Vedas, and to our culture that we should be very thankful and we should be very grateful that we're born in a rich heritage culture like this, and we rejoice at every moment. Thank you so much for being so patient, understanding, and knowing a bit about this science to begin with. Thank you.